Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94 here, back with another reaction video. Today, we fit a reactor. Black films that were secretly horror movies. I mean, as you can see with what's behind me right now, you can tell that this. I've always said that this was a good ass. This probably one of the most well-written hood movies I've ever watched, because it started off as a normal hood film and then turned into a horror film. This is some good ass writing right here. But anyways, though, good ass writing, good ass acting. But anyways, though, without further ado, let's get right into it.
What's up? Slumdog. So when you think of horror films, you might be thinking of movies like Saw, Jaws, Scream, Get Out, The Shining, Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, maybe even Halloween Town. Let's not act like Halloween Town wasn't a classic, except for the fourth one where they recasted the actress. That was terrible. But none of these movies are quite like the ones I'm going to be talking about today. And that's because the ones I'm talking about today are films that you would classify as hood movies. These are prominent movies that our dads and our moms played at home. Or if you're like me, seeing Juice for the first time was with me and my cousins, and it's like 10, 12 of us all gathering around the TV, and it's quiet in there because we're all spooked. And even as an adult, rewatching some of these movies, it still feels like a horror movie. It still gives you those chills of relatability that this is real life. All these movies don't have paranormal activity, witchcraft, or demons, but they do have evil undertones that are real. It shows real issues that are happening in Black culture today and back then. This is scary. Let's get into it.
Boys in the Hood. It is an important movie. This movie was written and directed by a young black man who is only 23 years old. He's with us today. Welcome, John Singleton.
So, Boys in the Hood. Yes, we are
RP
starting
to the
hot.
GOAT, man.
Boys in the Hood, released in 1991 by John Singleton, who also directed Snowfall, one of my favorite series of all time. The gradual rise of Franklin Saint, and then seeing where he ends up. Brilliant by John Singleton. God rest his soul. Boys in the Hood follows a character named Trey Styles and his two friends, Doughboy and Ricky, who are two brothers navigating life in the hood in different ways. One is literally a doughboy, and the other is trying to make it out through athletics, being a football player. Now, there's two horror scenes that I want to focus on when it comes to this film. One is the infamous car chase scene with Ricky, and then the second being Doughboy's revenge, leading to the cycle of trauma and homicide in Black
No, it's not.
communities.
They ain't getting no
Let's first
reboot.
talk about the infamous car scene. Now, when I first seen Boys in the Hood, I was
They ain't getting no reboot.
14, 15, maybe even 16. That scene.
They giving a
still gets me
reboot to a
this
series
day.
that just
Ricky's
ended?
running from gang members.
Hell
that
no.
Doughboy
They
had
finna
issues
milk that
with
for everything they
earlier
got.
in the movie. That chase scene where he's in the alley, the red car pulls up and shoots him in the back, and then all you hear is Trey Styles yelling, "Ricky! That scene still lives in my head sometimes whenever someone brings up the name Boys in the Hood. You cannot think of that scene. But the real horror of that scene is the consequences of even dealing with someone who is gang affiliated when you're not. Ricky was somebody who wasn't even in gang culture, but his brother was. Being that close in proximity with someone who is a gang member versus someone who's trying to make it out, it's showing that although he had potential to get out the hood is like quicksand and fatally dragged him deep into the sand. This is not Ricky's issue, but this was the environment's issue, and yet Ricky still paid the price for being in that environment. Something so memorable about this scene is when they bring Ricky's lifeless body into the house with blood all over him. That scene of just seeing so much blood was crazy to me at the time, and the crazy part is I've seen scary movies prior to that. This one felt a little different. I've seen gory films before. I've watched Saw before. I felt it a little bit more like in my mind. That scene is just painted in red. You have the mom screaming.
That's not a reboot. That's a spinoff.
And then Doughboy kind of staying there with a stale face. And that brings me to scene number 2, Doughboy's revenge. Doughboy gets revenge for what happens to his brother, and we see how one killing can lead to another killing. Now, what really gets me is when Doughboy is having a conversation with Trey about life in the hood, Ricky, and how getting revenge didn't really do anything. It didn't bring his brother back. He gets up, walks off, and it fades, and then texts come up on the screen saying he went to Ricky's funeral, but then 2 weeks later, Doughboy dies himself as a result of gun violence.
Damn.
The real horror in this movie is the tragic cycle of feeling like you have to end someone's life to start yours. This movie shows the horror in the cycle of violence and how people creating this violence were born with emotional instability and bred by an environment never meant to sustain the people in it. Boys in the Hood is a classic and shows the pain that goes on in an environment not really meant for you to succeed.
At the end of the day, it was a love story first, and if the love story didn't work, the basketball wouldn't matter either. And I knew her acting was good, but I was paranoid about her basketball, and I didn't know I made the right decision until we really got into the cutting, and it made sense.
Love and Basketball.
Wait.
Now, come on.
No, ain't no hold on nothing, nigga. This is far from a horror film. What the hell you talking about? What the hell you talking about, brother? You confusing me now. Hold on. Nah, brother. Nah, brother. Love and Basketball is far from a horror film. Where did you get a horror film out of this? Out of two people who found love through basketball, where did you find that at? Hell nah. Hell nah.
If we go to prison for the rest of our life, whoop-de-doo.
Just relax, okay? Just chill. This one's for my ladies. I've made a whole video on Love and Basketball and the emotional roller coaster that goes on within that film. You guys can watch that. The video's titled Nostalgia Meets Reality. Now online, there's a stigma about Monica and Quincy and how this movie is just a sheer total toxic film. And I break that down in my other video as well. And that's kind of the point I'm gonna lean on right now, because it is an emotional roller coaster. It's toxic. Love and Basketball released in 2000 by Gina.
It's toxic, yes, but a horror film, brother.
Prince Bythewood, who also directed the movie The Woman King, which I haven't seen, but I do want to see it. I've heard some good reviews on it. The movie's about two longtime friends who are neighbors who share the love of basketball that starts a kindled relationship which has its ups and downs as they navigate through playing ball professionally. The horror lies in the toxicity of a man's ego when he has a woman who is down to earth and willing to sacrifice certain things to be with them. The horror starts in this film when they're in college and Quincy and Monica are outside, and Monica has a curfew for basketball and she's trying to be a starter. She has to be very disciplined towards what the coach tells her, and Quincy is going through hardship because he's finding out that his father stepped out of his marriage. Quincy's expecting Monica to kind of stay with him throughout that time where he's feeling some sadness, and Monica tells him that she has a curfew to meet. So Monica goes back to her dorm and he takes this personally. We see that after that in a party, we see Quincy kind of shrugging off Monica and then going to talk to plenty of women. The next morning, she goes to his dorm and then she sees another girl who he introduces to her, his girlfriend, which is a little much. And so she's just kind of like, wait, whoa, what is going on here? And we could see Quincy kind of playing these games of inching Monica two steps.
I'm still waiting for the horror. This sound like everyday typical nigga shit, bro. People get cheated on every day, B. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new, bro. You reaching on this one. I'm sorry, brother, but you reaching on this one. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, brother, but you reaching on this one.
Reach for the sky.
Yeah, you reaching on this one, brother.
Ahead, but then just to put her 3 steps behind. He then breaks up with her and doesn't really give an explanation. He just kind of just breaks up with her just for the hell of it, and it all stems from expecting her to aid to his needs, kind of neglecting her as a whole. This puts Monica through a roller coaster of emotions, and we see years later after they get out of college, Monica is playing in Spain and Quincy's playing in the NBA. Quincy ends up getting injured and going to the hospital. Monica, still attached to Quincy, even years after being removed from college and even seeing Quincy, she comes down still to the hospital just for Quincy's soon-to-be wife to walk in, brilliantly played by Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks, what's up? She comes in and shows Monica her ring. Yeah, you gotta see why this is a horror film. Going through that emotional roller coaster and Quincy's inability to...
If anybody got did dirty, it was Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks' character got did the dirtiest. She lost her fiance to a basketball game. Come on, Chief. That's bruh. She lost her fiance to a basketball game, bruh. Think about that one for a second, bruh. Fuck Monica. Fuck Monica and Quincy, bruh. Both of them trash. But nigga, Tyra Banks didn't deserve that, bruh. Tyra Banks did not deserve that.
See a good thing when it's staring at him right in the face. That's something that we all go through. And I know some of you guys, when you guys think of horror, you guys think of gore, violence. But emotional horror is a real thing too. No one wants that.
Man, you sound goofy as hell, bro. I'm sorry, brother. I don't mean to be rude. I don't. But you reaching, bro.
Reach for the sky.
You reaching, bro. This is a reach. I'm sorry, brother. I can't agree with you on this one. This is a no for me, bro. You not cooking, bro. You not cooking at all. Your ingredients, brother, the stove ain't on. You ain't got no ingredients, brother. You're not cooking, brother. You're making cereal. You're making cold ass cereal, bro. This ain't it, bro. You're not cooking with this one, bro. Stop it. Stop it, bro. You just going down a hole that you can't get out of.
Get up! Get up! Get up!
You're trying to cook, but the stove ain't working, brothers. Please stop it. Stop it, please.
Stop it. Get some help. No one deserves that. A lot of ladies are saying this is their nightmare, so that's why I had to put it here as a horror movie.
Hell no.
We're gonna rehearse it for camera and help get the movie. This is
Okay, here we go. This is the real one.
right here. Ernest Nicholson. I'm Tupac Shakur. Thank you.
He's one of our star players here.
He's one of the star makers.
Now this one's my personal favorite, the movie Juice. Juice released in 1992 and was directed by Ernest Dickerson, starring Tupac as Bishop and Omar Epps as Q. Juice follows a group of 4 friends in Harlem who dabble in petty crimes, steadily upping the stakes, having their sights set on robbing a convenience store. Bishop, played by Tupac, is the charismatic leader. Q, played by Omar Epps, wasn't willing to do it because he has aspirations of being a DJ in a show the same night they plan on committing the crime. This movie then takes us on a haunting ride of a rogue friend. Now, like I said, this movie is one of my favorite ones.
Why niggas turn that shit into a meme, bruh? Why did niggas turn this part into a meme? Go back real quick. Why did niggas turn this part into a meme, bruh?
The same night they plan on committing the crime. This movie then takes
this part right here. This part has become a meme for some odd reason. Niggas talking about something happened. Raheem got shot. They turned that into a meme. If you need context, it's basically it's basically like covering up your tracks. It's basically like lying and covering up your tracks. That's what they turned this into. This shit is hilarious, bro. This is a hilarious ass meme, bro.
This on a haunting ride of a rogue friend. Now, like I said, this movie is one of my favorite ones, and there's 2 scenes that I want to highlight here. Now, the first scene I want to touch on is when Bishop rolls up on Q in the hallway of a school and gives one of the best monologues in cinema history.
When you said that last time, I was
I'm tripping, right?
You're right.
I'm crazy. Give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about Steel. I don't give a fuck about Raheem neither.
I don't give a fuck
about myself.
When I was younger, I had the covers on. I might have to put the covers over my head a few times. That scene right there, exceptional. Tupac Shakur, God rest his soul, that role was so amazing to me. Like that, he did that. He did his thing in this movie, brilliantly casted. And the reason that that's so chilling and the horror in that scene is we seen Bishop go from a friend to his greed taking over to a killer, and now that killer is out to finish the job. The relationship that Q and Bishop had before, how that changes, and we see how, I was about to say Tupac, we see how Bishop has changed in character. But that scene is so memorable and so haunting because Tupac, man, he made you believe like, wow, this dude's really rogue and he's going out to finish the job. He wants none of his friends to be alive. He just killed 2 of his
Flex
friends.
was doing this model
to finish the job, and that leads me to scene 2, the elevator scene. We see Q in a paranoid state before finding Bishop, where they get in an altercation, ending in Q getting shot in the arm. Q sees a group of people and tries to blend in, going inside an elevator, and almost gets away before Bishop holds the elevator door, walks in, and that standstill, that stare off, oh man, that's chilling. When you watch it for the first time, your heart is pumping. This is a thriller. This then leads to an eventual fight on top of the building where we see Bishop and Q going at it. Eventually leads to Bishop falling over the ledge and Q holding onto his hands. We see someone like Bishop. We see the innocence in his eyes of kind of regretting what he did. Bishop's yelling, please don't let me go, don't let me go, pull him up. But Q doesn't have enough strength to pull him up. We see how quick a person can change when their life is at the hands of another person. Bishop felt so powerful, and the power of having a gun, the power of a gun to any man, how that fuels his ego, how that fuels his greed. He feels invincible till you're not. The horror in this movie shows when the want for power gets the best of you.
We wanted the part so bad. When I came to audition and did the reading with the person doing reading, I had a real gun on me. Pulled out a real gun. I was like, okay. But there's a part in the script. I pulled the gun out. They're like, yo, the guy who was reading was like, yo. But they calling me like, yo, I'm fighting for you, man.
So Paid in Full.
Okay.
Man, there's a lot to discuss here. Paid in Full released in October 2000.
To be fair, this is based off a real life story, so
2002 and was directed by Charles Stone III, produced by Damon Dash and Jay-Z, starring Wood Harris as Ace, Mekhi Phifer as Mitch, and Cameron as Rico, are all in pursuit of gaining status through selling drugs. With finding success, they have to now navigate through jealousy, envy, and greed, not only amongst their environment, but themselves. The first scene I want to talk about is when Ace gets robbed by a guy he sees earlier on in the movie, but Rico, played by Cameron, kind of brushes him off, and because his ego's inflated because he's getting the money. But that dude comes back later on in the film to rob Ace, and we see him not only try to just rob Ace, but his family's involved and his family's tied up on the bed. We then see a gunfight happen inside the bathroom because Ace hears gunshots coming from the room where his family members are. That is horror in and of itself. Getting involved in the drug game and seeing consequences for your actions, because there's always going to be somebody who wants something. There's always going to be somebody who's looking at you with envy. And now Paid in Full has a little bit more horror scenes, but I say that scene to connect it back to the scene that I love the most. But before I get into that scene, I want to say this. Rico in itself, Rico as a character as a whole, I can go on and on about how he's the cause of this movie being a horror movie. You know, his greed, his lust, his want for power. But that'll be too obvious. I bring up Ace getting robbed because that leads to the scene where Ace and Mitch are sitting down having a conversation. Ace he has band-aids all over him. You know, he just got shot, and Mitch is sitting there checking up on him, making sure he's good. Mitch starts his monologue, and Mitch goes on to say,
I love the game. I love the hustle, man. Be feeling like one of them ball-playing niggas, you know, Bird, Magic or something. A nigga could leave the league, but if I leave, the fans still gonna
love me, man.
He talks about how he gets respect in Harlem, and that if he leaves the game, well, the fans still remember him. This scene perfectly shows what everyone I just previously named feels like. Whether that's Bishop and Juice letting the power of a gun dictate his moves, whether that's Quincy in Love and Basketball expecting everyone to cater to his needs, whether that's Doughboy, who was born in the same circumstances as Ricky, but got deterred to gang life. On the surface, it looks like it's them versus them, but if you peel the layers back and look a little deeper, it's them versus a system meant for them to lose. Whether it's emotional stability, revenge, greed, or power, these things arise because of the environment that they're in. They're blinded by traumatic events that happened generations before they even came along. A quote that someone gave to me that stuck with me is, some people just want to be king. Whether that's king of an empire or king of an anthill, they just want to be king.
Alrighty, that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. That's just gonna about do it for this one. This was a good video, good video, but brother, the Love and Basketball one, that's like I said, brother. You was trying to cook on that one, but the stove wasn't working, partner. The stove is off. Ain't no flame coming out of it, brother. Them eggs just cold eggs. Okay, the ramen noodles, they just soggy noodles now. No heat, my brother. No heat. No heat on that one. You cooked on everything else though, but you was cooking on everything else too, except them regular ass peas. But aside from that though, yeah, man, yeah, it's pretty good video. That very good video. But anyway, so let's just go about do it for this one. I will see you on the next video. Till then, deuces.